award was founded in honour of IWIRC's founding secretary and treasurer, Laureen Ryan. It's awarded to the IWIRC network that best exemplifies IWIRC in the past calendar year. Hong Kong Network and its members faced some difficult times during 2020 until really March of this year, with Hong Kong being subject to some of the most stringent and prolonged restrictions during COVID. There was a lot of uncertainty and changes to regulations were made very quickly, which indeed made it challenging for the board to organise events and keep their members connected through these challenging and anxious times. However, through this difficult time, the Hong Kong Network has truly blossomed in 2022 and bounced back stronger than ever. I'm just going to give some examples of what they've done over that period. They helped their members to be inspired. They inspired their members with opportunities to participate in charity events to give back to their community. They also inspired many new members to become actively engaged with IWIRC and did some strong succession planning for their board, with lots of new members joining the board over the last couple of years. They helped their members to be informed, including via events like a virtual panel discussion they had with both the Singapore and India networks for International Women's Day on breaking the bias. And they ensured their members continued to be connected. When they weren't able to meet in person, they introduced a newsletter during 2020 to maintain connectivity and a range of virtual events and carried that on for quite some period. And then from 2022, a strong calendar of in-person networking events returned to their calendar stronger than ever. And so today it's with great pleasure that I present the Ryan Award to the Hong Kong Network. And can I please invite Michaela Lam and Katrina Lim, who are two of the recent past co-chairs, to accept the award on behalf of the Hong Kong Network. It's two pieces, so you can have one each.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, maybe we'll put it back down.
Okay.
Yes, that's
I
probably
will do that.
safest.
I know, I feel like I shouldn't touch it.
Hi, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Michaela Lam, and I am the immediate past co-chair of the Hong Kong Network this year. I was co-chair of the Hong Kong Network in 2021 and 2022.
And I'm Katrina Lim. I was immediate past co-chair last year. The year before, I was co-chair with Michaela. And the year before that, if I'm counting right, which I think is 2020, I was co-chair with Veronica, who was somewhere in this room. There she is. Yes.
So we want to thank IWIRC for the Ryan Award and for recognising the Hong Kong Network for a second time since 2016, which, to be honest, is a time which feels like a lifetime ago. We also want to thank Cynthia Sue, who can't be here today, who is the co-chair of the Hong Kong Network this year and last year, and Carmen Yeung, who is the co-chair this year. We want to thank both of them for preparing the Ryan Award nomination this year. So as Ellie said, Hong Kong faced many challenges during the pandemic. Katrina and I both underwent 21 days of hotel quarantine when returning to Hong Kong, and this was so we could visit our families based overseas. This was an experience that, frankly, we would never want to experience again. At its worst, restaurants in Hong Kong could only seat tables of 2 at a time and had to close at 6 p.m. I guess the government thought that the virus was like a vampire or something that would come out at 6 p.m. So of course this made made physical events quite impossible.
So Michaela's kind of given the context of the past 2 years, but before that, so before 2020, I felt like when Veronica and I became co-chair, and then even at the start with Michaela, it was like inheriting a golden goose. So the Hong Kong Network is so well set up. It runs like clockwork. You know the calendar, the hit events are the black tie event, the networking lunch, quarterly drinks. It just ran so well. That's all thanks to people like Ellie, Veronica, actually Ashling, and others who I'm sure many of you have met or have won awards in previous years. So it really threw us when we had the pandemic, but suddenly we couldn't do physical events, and we were a network driven by events, at least one a month. So that really meant we had to, as all of us had to do, we had to pivot, we had to adapt. And we were worried. We were like, would we lose all our members? Would we lose all our friends? Would we not have people wanting to be on the board anymore? Because IWIRC in Hong Kong is great. It's so popular. Every year it's competitive to get on the board. So there's always more people running for the board than there are spots. And actually that's what helps with membership, because every member gets one vote. So these were all the things that were going through our head, of course, with the pandemic raging on as well. But actually what we saw was the legacy that's been built up by all the women before us in Hong Kong and internationally is so strong that actually when we ran hybrid events, when we ran virtual events in Hong Kong, they were still really popular. It meant we built up stronger connections with our Asia sister networks, with the international networks. I think this event has been great for me, Michaela, because everyone we've seen in a tiny box on Zoom, most of you we've now met in person. But actually, and then when we emerged from COVID, which was quite late compared with the rest of the world, what we've seen has been a huge rebound and an instant jump back to our previous member numbers. It was still competitive to get on the board last year. We've got great members. I think Michaela will talk more about this now. So it's just been really inspiring to see that there could be such a big setback for a network that was so successful, and it's still come back stronger than ever.
Yeah, no, thanks, Kat. So as Kat said, so we had to learn to be adaptable. So whenever there was an opportunity to be able to have physical events, the board banded together to find venues and sponsors at short notice. And so we really want to give special thanks to the board members who served during the COVID years, our sponsors who were willing to provide financial support for events, and most importantly, the amazing members and friends who turned up to our events in large numbers where possible and who accepted and understood when events had to be rescheduled at short notice. And we are so pleased to report that since restrictions were lifted, we were able to celebrate IWIRC's 30th anniversary in style in June when we hosted a black tie dinner at the Shangri-La in Hong Kong. This was the first black tie dinner since 2019. There were 260 guests at the Shangri-La, which was a sellout event, and we hope that there will be many more black tie dinners to come. And it was just so heartening to see the love and support that our members and friends have for IWIRC. So thank you again to IWIRC for recognising the Hong Kong network and for giving us the Ryan Award. And we also want to congratulate the winners of the Fetner and Melnik Awards. So thank you.
Yep, you're up.
We'll push the button when it's time for Val to speak.
Okay. Hi, Tara Shellhorn again. I am so excited to be here, and it's really my privilege to get to present the Fetner Award to my very good friend, Valerie Bantner. What I'm most sad about is that Val is not here to accept the award with us today, but we'll hear from her in a few minutes. And I hope you all will indulge me while I kind of like fangirl about her in her absence. So the Fetner Award is named in honor of founding Vice Chair Martha Fetner and is awarded to a member for exemplary service to IWIRC through efforts over the past year or several years, specifically aimed at bringing members together through regional and international conferences, efforts, and relationships. This award is given to members who contribute to IWIRC that have helped fuel growth and expansion of IWIRC's mission globally. I am going to tell you guys all the ways that I think Val has fulfilled that, but the first thing I do want to share, and I really wish she was here to hear this, but one of my very first memories of Val is from leadership and I was sitting with her and we were doing an icebreaker at a table just like this years ago. And so it feels kind of surreal to now be, and we were I think maybe network chairs at the time, and now to be giving her this award in front of everybody. You guys who know me know I'm a crier, so I'm gonna tear up. But it's just really exciting. It's just really, really exciting. And I guess it just shows you you never know where these opportunities will take you. So it's just really special. Val is a shareholder of Buckhalter San Francisco office. She focuses her practice on creditors' rights, real estate, finance, and commercial litigation. She regularly represents financial institutions, including agribusiness lenders and alternative lenders, software licensors, commercial landlords and tenants, equipment lessors, officers and directors, and creditors committees. Like so many of us, Val served as a network chair for the Northern California Network, and I think that's kind of where her IWIRC leadership journey began. And from there, she was an integral part of the committee that started the IWIRC on the Vine conference years ago. I think maybe the first year was 2018. I'm looking for Karen, around then. But IWIRC on the Vine, for those of you who don't know, was a regional conference that was launched by the Northern California, Southern California, Mountain Desert, and Western Canada networks. I think it was either the second or third regional conference in the United States, and quickly probably became the most popular, given that it was in Napa Valley. And Val was a huge part of that. She then leveraged the skills she gained in these positions, holding a variety of other leadership roles on the board, including the international board, including Vice Director of Regional Planning and U.S. Network Chair. So Val and I sometimes I think share like a brain in many respects, and one of the things we both are very, very passionate about is the importance of regional programming, and that's like one of the things that we really came together with. I know Evelyn can be in that club too, because we've all spent a lot of times talking about it. But I think, you know, for me, Valerie took the role of Vice Director of Regional Programming and U.S. Network Chairs, and was able to, I think, launch both of those things into like just a better place than they were. She's the type of person that leaves a role better than when she got there. She's a strategic thinker. She's really action-oriented. I think she might think of herself as living in like the gold neighborhood, but I think she probably has like just an apartment there and lives somewhere else most of the time, because she's really able to just improve things and make it better. It's one of the things about her that I admire the most. And it's all these skills that I think set her up for what to me is what makes her the perfect recipient for the Fetner Award. So after doing all that, Valerie became the first Global Networks Director for IWIRC 2 years ago. And Global Networks Director was a brand new role that was created on the board. And it was tasked with overseeing the directors from all different regions across the world. The parameters weren't really defined, and I see it as one of those roles, like, you know, they say to you, oh, it's what you make of it, you know, or it's up to you, right? And you see people sink or swim in roles like that. And Val really rose to the occasion, and she helped the regional directors find ways to communicate more regularly and to see where there were synergies among what was happening in different parts of the world. And so I was in the role of U.S. network chairs at the time, and I think having been on the board for a while, those roles were so siloed, and you didn't know what was happening in the other regions, and Val used her role to bring us all together, and I think it exemplifies what we're trying to do to work together as a global organization rather than in like individual silos. As if that weren't enough, Val then went on to another, I think, brand new role as International Programs Director, through which she is now spearheading, along with others, the IWIRC at INSOL conference in Tokyo on September 13th and 14th, which will be IWIRC's first international conference outside of North America. So, you know, a person who just like does it better. I'm so proud of her. I'm so excited. I just have tremendous respect for her, and I just think we're so fortunate to have her among our leaders, and I just wish she was here so I could give her a hug. So we'll hear from her now.
Hi, everyone. I am so disappointed to not be in London with you all today. However, I have gotten to know so many of you over Zoom that I suppose it's sort of only fitting that I'm beaming into this conference from my home office, where I so often hold IWIRC meetings. The one thing I will say is at least it's not 6 a.m. right now, which is ordinarily when I am talking to my IWIRC sisters from all around the globe. So thank you, Tara. I am confident that you had very kind things to say. And truly receiving the Fetner Award is just a tremendous honor. And I hope to live up to the legacy left by Martha Fetner and the other impressive women who have won this award. IWIRC has really been almost the but for me of so many good things that have happened in my career. I owe both of my law firm jobs to IWIRC contacts. Some of my biggest referral have come from IWIRC members. I work with many of you as local counsel across the country and even around the globe. And for me, the reason that IWIRC has been such a powerful professional advantage is because the connections are genuine. These aren't just people I network with because it's advantageous to my career. They're my friends. And it's been incredibly organic for me. My network connections here in Northern California were really the foundation. As the chair of my network here, when I chaired IWIRC on the Vine, I got to know my sisters in Western Canada, in Southern California, and in Rocky Mountain. And then from there, becoming US Networks chair really kind of launched those connections nationwide and really across the globe, so that it was kind of a natural next step to take on the role of Global Networks Director. And I'm just so proud and so humbled by how impressive my IWIRC friends are. These are women who are at the top of their game doing impressive work around the world. And so not only is it amazing that if I happen to find myself in, I don't know, Miami or Rome, I'm pretty sure that I can find someone to have dinner with. If my clients have issues and their issues are in New Orleans, Des Moines, New York, I've got a gal for you. So really, I give my time, I give my energy, I get up at 6 a.m. for meetings because IWIRC gives back to me. It's just one of the most rewarding professional experiences that I've had. And so to say that I am honored, that I am humbled to receive the Fetner Award, it just doesn't even do justice to just how pleased I am. And so all I can say is thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so sorry again to not be with you in person in London, but I truly hope to see many of you in Tokyo at IWIRC at Insol or in Austin at the fall conference. All right, ladies, bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara and Val. Next up, and the final award is the Melnik Award. The Melnik Award, which is named for IWIRC's founding chair, Celinda Melnik, is awarded to a member whose contributions to IWIRC over an extended period of time have been exceptional. And by her efforts, she has made a lasting impact on the mission of IWIRC. Lauren McKelvey has done just that. She's a founding member of the Washington, D.C. network and has been a member for the last 12 years. Lauren didn't just sit around waiting to get involved, she jumped right in. In 2011, when the network was founded, Lauren served on the D.C. board and was co-chair of the membership committee, actually in 2011 and 2012. In 2013 and 2014, she was the chair of the network. And you need to have this list because Lauren did something different every year. In 2015, she was a board member and co-chair of the programming committee. And in 2016, she was the network co-chair. Actually, she was the co-chair of the programming committee and a board member in 15. In 16, she was the network co-chair again and co-chair of the programming committee. But by the way, during that time also, she joined the international board as well, and she was the newsletter director. I'm not sure how Lauren had time to have her full-time job during them, because it seems like she was doing way too, I wouldn't say too much, but a lot of work for IWIRC instead. Lauren has been either a board member or a co-chair of the DC network for every year since its inception. And again, as well as partaking in the international board. Yeah, okay, so while Lauren was busy with her network role, that wasn't enough. I worked for her. So she joined the international board, and she served as the newsletter director, vice director, and director of membership services, vice director of spring programming, director and co-director of the new network and regional development committee, and the last 2 years as a director at large. And while she was a director at large, she was serving on the new network and regional development committee and the IWIRC at Insol committee. Lauren, I don't know how you do it. Lauren is a partner at Reitler, Kalis, and Rosenblatt in Reston, Virginia, where she counsels emerging companies in all phases of their growth and advises investors and lenders in the technology space. Lauren concentrates her practice in the areas of data licensing, privacy and cybersecurity, and restructuring and bankruptcy. Please join me in thanking Lauren for all she does for IWIRC by presenting her with the Melnik Award. Hold on.
gosh, it's
Two pieces. Hold on. I gotta take that out.
Thank you, Margie, for those kind words. I'm so inspired by all of you, by all of the women in IWIRC. Okay, I was not gonna cry. I'm like starting in the first second. Okay, thanks, guys. I was like practicing in our room with Elizabeth, and I'm like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm gonna do this. Okay. I attended my first leadership summit over a decade ago as a baby attorney with 2 babies at home. Gosh, okay. And it was hard, establishing my career, raising a family. But at IWIRC, I met so many smart, amazing women who were 5, 10, 20 years ahead of me, who were doing the same thing, and they were killing it. And, and they weren't pretending it was easy. And I was inspired. I was just really inspired by it. So I want to thank my family. Many of you know them, my husband, my 2 daughters, my mom, my mother-in-law, for their support of me and IWIRC. And I want to thank hundreds of IWIRC women, but I don't have time for all of your names, so I'm going to do it by category. So first, I'd like to thank the Washington, D.C. network members, past and present. Then I'd like to thank IWIRC leadership, everyone who served in IWIRC leadership over the past 12 years, who informed me about leadership roles, who encouraged me to take on leadership roles. Everyone who referred me business, thank you so much. And everyone I referred business to, thank you. You made me look so good in front of my clients and my partners. Finally, I want to thank every IWIRC member I've connected with over the years, whether we worked together on a committee, or you provided me with advice, or I provided you with advice, or we chatted at a conference or an event. Every single one of those connections, whether we've known each other for a decade now or just met this week, every single one of these connections has brought me joy. Okay, IWIRC just brings me so much joy. Thank you so much. you guys, time for our session?
Yep, Karen's coming up. That's okay, take your time.
We kind of matched, and we're both in orange.
I know. First of all, thank you, Lauren. Now we're going to do our first session for the morning, and we're going to piggyback on what we talked about yesterday, both on the strategic side and on the mentoring side. And we'd like to spur some discussion at the table. And actually, if someone could take notes, that would be great. We'd love to collect them and have them again for our strategic planning. You want to start?
Yeah, so as Margie said, the overarching themes, I think, of this conference are about mentorship and sponsorship, and I was really inspired to hear about the London's mentoring program. I mean, it sounds amazing, and I started thinking, how can I take what the London group has done and, transport it back to Western Canada, where we have lots of challenges in terms of recreating a program like that. Not only do we only have 80 members, but they are spread out over 3 cities in a large geographical area. So I'm hoping we can try to talk through some of those issues at our tables and think about how we can really work on making a mentoring program like that work in our own jurisdictions. And I'd love to hear ideas from people about how IWIRC can implement mentoring programs and what's worked with you and what hasn't. The other thing, as I say, Margie and I have been, we're going to be actually hiring a consultant to help us with our strategic plan, which is going to be started. We're going to start doing that. Well, we're going to start in early 2024, but we'll actually do our first session in early March of 2024. And one of the things that's top of mind for us is the pipeline. We have in this room, you all represent IWIRC leadership, but any good organization that's doing some forward strategic planning has to think about succession planning and how we get younger members more involved at the board level, and how we can encourage people to join the board and get more involved with IWIRC internationally. So we're hoping those 2 topics can spur some good discussions. You can choose whichever one you like, either how to implement mentoring programs in your own jurisdictions, or how to build a pipeline into IWIRC leadership.
And especially, we talked a lot about mentoring, but especially bringing leadership up with the younger generation and how, I hate to say it, but we all won't be sitting in this room in 5 years. Who will those women be? And how do you get them here?
Right.
Because we are an international organization, and we are, we do need representatives from all over the world like we have here today. And how do we continue that and grow? Because we are growing. I'm guessing that we're going to be close to 60 networks by the end of this year. We're at 57. If we're not at 60 by December, we're going to be pretty close, at least 59, and 60 will be right around the corner. But and as we continue to grow, not just in networks, but in members, how do we keep that rolling?
So, and 2 housekeeping issues. I wanted to give a special shout out and acknowledgement of the bracelets that you all saw at your tables. These are specially designed by, Shari Bedker and Sejal Kelly. So thank you so much for designing these beautiful bracelets, and these are courtesy of IWIRC International.
There were cards in your little packet if you want to order more, right, Shari? They can be ordered if you want to order them for your network. They can be ordered. Shari's also going to have some in Austin for the fall conference.
Right. And the lovely marshmallow sweets that are at your table this morning are courtesy of the London Network. So thank you for that.
Okay, I don't have my watch on. What time, do you know what time it is?
Yeah, okay, so we have, I think, I screwed up on the time yesterday, but I think we have till 10:30? Okay.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna probably give about 30 minutes for discussion, and then come back up and just hear from everybody a little, give everybody a chance to give some of their thoughts. But again, we'd really appreciate for our purposes on the strategic plan, if you could have someone at your table take some notes and give them to us at the end so we can have them.
Thank you.
Have a look in that box and help yourself.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kat.